So we're going to look at some of the shell metacharacters. These are characters that are interpreted by the shell to have special meaning. So one that we've seen already is the tilde character, and this refers to the user's home directory. So if we cd to the tilde character, that's the same as saying cd because the default behavior is to go home, but we can refer to directories within there too. So as the root user, the tilde character refers to the root user's home. If you are the root user, you can also refer, or if you have permission to, you can refer to other people's directories. So I could say cd to Amir, so tilde and then the username, and that puts me in that user's directory. Here our prompt isn't showing the tilde character as a shortcut for the directory we're in, which it normally does because this isn't my home directory. So if I cd to my home directory, it tells me I'm there. If I cd to my home directory in a different way, it tells us we're there. So that's the tilde character. The $ character allows us to expand the contents of a variable. So there's a bunch of built-in variables when we open a shell. We have the home variable, which for root is /root. For a regular user is home / their username, or whatever their home directory is set to. You can tab complete variable names, and you can explore what variables exist. So echo and then $home will echo the value of the home character, but the $ just expands whatever that variable is. There's a couple other ones that are useful. Path is a special variable that we'll look into later. Another character is the hash character. This is a comment character. So if we were writing a script, we might put some comments in there. Or if we had a really long command, we might say what that does as a comment after there. Nothing after the hash mark is interpreted as a command, and the hash mark is not to be confused with the root prompt character that we have as the root user. The same as the $ is not to be confused with the non-root prompt character. So another command that we have is the redirection character, and let's say we were going to cat a file, like the Etsy password file, and or we were going to grep the Etsy password file for users named Amir. Normally this just prints to standard out. We can have this print to, we can redirect this output to a new file. So that will, the contents of the user's named Amir is the same as this. So, but instead of printing it out, we redirected it to a new file. It created this file for us, and the contents were in there. Related to that is the append command. So when we redirect, it always just overwrites that file if we have the single angle bracket. So here I grepped for Puppet, and it put Puppet in there. So it overwrites the contents of the file. If we want to append, redirect and append, we use 2 angle brackets. And now we see that that's there. So 1 angle bracket overwrites the file, 2 angle brackets append to the file, which might be useful. If we want to chain commands together, we can use the semicolon character. So let's say we want to echo hi, and then the semicolon separates these 2 commands. So echo hi is going to run, and then immediately after that echo hey there is going to run. So that'll run back to back no matter what. Sometimes we want to chain commands in a more intelligent way, so that only the second command will only run if the first one was successful. And for that we use the ampersand command. So this will give us the same exact output, but if echo high failed, the hey there would not run. So a practical use of that would be if we were making a directory that couldn't be made. So here we'll make directory dir1 files, and if that succeeds, we want to put a file in there. So make dir cannot create that, so this touch did not run. If we use the semicolon, dir1 files still would not succeed, but additionally we would get another error message for this because it depends on the previous command. It can't create this file for us either. So we can fix that with the -p on makedir, and these commands will both run now because the makedir was successful. Using the -p we can make a whole directory tree at once, and the touch is also successful, or we can make sure that it is. It didn't give us an error message, and it was successful. Related to that is the or command. So here I'll try to run another bad command. Try to make dir2 files. dir2 does not exist, so this will fail. So the or the double pipes is the or operator, the special characters, and this will only print out. This will only run if the previous command failed, as opposed to only running if the previous command succeeded. Two more metacharacters that are could be confused with the and or is the single ampersand and the single pipe. So this command sleep 5 sleeps for 5 seconds. Notice that we don't get our prompt back. I can't type in any more commands there until it's slept for 5 seconds, and then whatever I typed in gets run. If we don't want to wait for a long-running command like sleep, we can throw the ampersand on the end, and that tells the shell to background that process. So I have my shell back, and I can keep running commands until that background process is done. And when it is done, the next time I run a command, it tells me that that command that you asked me to do was done in the background, and it's completed. Now let's look at the pipe command, which is not to be confused with the double pipe command, which is the or conditional execution. So when we list files, let's say we want to only list certain types of files, or we want to just find certain things in there. So let's say we know that we can do ls_star.txt, that'll only show the text files. We could also pipe the output of ls to grep. So that's what the single pipe does. It redirects the output to another script. So ls, the output is not going directly to the terminal, to the standard out for us to read. It's being piped to grep. Grep is taking that as its input and only showing us txt files. So that's also useful for searching for contents of files. We could cat a file, or we could chain a whole bunch of pipes together to sort. So this will sort the usernames, sort the lines in Etsy password. We could sort them and keep on piping this to more and more commands. Finally, we have the / character, which will prevent interpretation of the next character. So all of these meta characters have special meaning, and if we didn't want them to have special meaning, we could precede them with the /. So if I literally wanted to echo $home, I couldn't do that normally because the $ is interpreted as a special character. So what I do is I prefix it with a / character. So we can do any kind of, it will say, this is not actually a quote that's being that I'm wrapping a string in, but this is just echo a literal quotation mark.